Ghoul here. So I recently got a Elgato Neo, and I can now record Nintendo Switch games and Nintendo Wii U games, of which I have quite a few, so I'm looking forward to actually making some videos of them. Super excited about it. And this one here, as you can see, is going to be my first little venture into making Nintendo videos. This, as you can see, is Link. Well, my version of Link in Monster Hunter's Generations Ultimate. And it's one of my favorite Monster Hunter games. I actually enjoy Rise a great deal, and I enjoy World as well, and I play all of them quite a bit. But this one was a little different. It's a much older Monster Hunter game. It had a lot more monsters than the other ones. And it had certain features, like you had these abilities. You can see Sword Dance on the screen and Round Force and such. Those are like little supers you would unlock, and you could level up as you go. And a lot of people didn't really like them. The hardcore Monster Hunter gamers, a lot of them just weren't a fan of that. But I actually enjoyed that quite a bit. I love that feature, being able to hit the monsters with a big attack when you have it unlocked. I thought that was great. But another thing that was really fun in this game was the Palicos. They actually had the ability to play as the Palico, where you could leave your little hero character at home and go play as the cat. And the Palico, they called him a Prowler, and you had different variants of it. You had Beast and Fighter and Bomber and Healer and Gatherer and such. So they all had different abilities, and some of them were so OP and so much fun to play as. For instance, the Beast Prowler, I would play as that, and I actually took down a number of bosses that even my hero character was having a very difficult time with. So there, and a lot of other people prefer the Fighter with the boomerangs and such, or different ones, which is great, and I use those as well. But I'm just using as an example the Beast ones that I just thoroughly enjoyed playing as. But you can see my Link character here. One of the things that I loved about this game as well is it had the most crossovers of any Monster Hunter game that I've played. Monster Hunter World had some fantastic crossovers, and it's something I love about the Monster Hunter series in general, is when they have these crossovers. And World had Witcher crossover, and Devil May Cry, Resident Evil, Horizon Zero Dawn crossovers. A lot of great ones. But this game had something different, which was Nintendo crossovers, which made me so happy because of the fact that as a kid, my favorite video game character was Link. And I always loved the Legend of Zelda games, big fan of them. And the Breath of the Wild games especially. And you can see here, that's what I've got. Link here I unlocked Link's Breath of the Wild outfit, his tunic, his hair and everything. And he's got his shield, he's got the Hylian shield, the Master Sword. And it's just so much fun to play that way, for me anyway, just to be able to play as Link in this game. And if you look at my Palicos as well here, you'll see that they actually have Zelda gear on as well. There's one of them is dressed as Link from Wind Waker, and the other Palico is dressed as a Korok from Breath of the Wild. So they always have these little Palico crossover outfits that will go along with your main character, which is just fantastic. Some of them, I gotta say, are exceedingly difficult to get. Some of them I found just very hard. I had a hard time getting my hands on the Dante Palico for the longest time. I was trying to get that on one of my characters. But yeah, some of them are not easy. The Arthur one from Ghouls and Ghosts for your Palico, that's another one that I find a little difficult to get. But some of them, like Mega Man Palico and things, are not too bad. This particular video, I have Link fighting the, was it the Fateful Four? I think it was called. I don't know, I can't remember, but at any rate, I also have unlocked the Metroid gear, and I unlocked the Strider gear for my other two characters. So I also have another video for my Samus Aran character, which is all decked out in full Metroid gear. And getting all of those was actually, it was challenging. I gotta tell you, it was not easy. Some of these are not easy to acquire. But they're, when you get them, it's just so much more fun to play. I'm actually really looking forward to making more Nintendo videos, and I'm hoping Nintendo is cool with it, because I'm abiding by their rules. They have this set rules that they put out. I don't know if it was this year or last, but they require that if you're making Let's Play videos, which generally that's the only types of videos I make, you kind of have to keep your gums flapping. You got to keep talking, and so that's what I'm trying to do. So I apologize if I jibber jabber a little too much, but yeah, that's kind of, if you want to make Nintendo videos, that's what you got to do. And now you'll see this Master Sword attack here. Look at that. See, that's one of the supers that I just hit him with. And that's one of the things I really enjoyed about this game, is just being able to do those things. When you're in a pinch or something and you need to pull something out of your bag, it's very helpful sometimes. And I often use the Hunter's Oasis as well, just to save my bacon when I'm about to die. Now the Monster Hunter the Monster Hunter games in general are just a lot of fun. If you haven't played them, you really should get into them. Sometimes they have a bit of a learning curve if you've not played them before. It's a different kind of game from most other games you may have played, but it is so addictive, and it's so much fun once you get into it. This one, the graphics are pretty dated, just because it's an older game that came out on 3DS first, and then was ported over to Nintendo Switch. I think there was a variant of it on the Wii U, but I don't have that. I'm not sure which it was. It might have been Monster Hunter 3 that was on the Wii U, though. I'm not sure. But this is the one that I've got on the Switch, and like I said, I've had a lot of fun with it. I'm looking forward to making videos of Mario Galaxy, Mario Galaxy 2, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, I mean, you name it. The only issue is my Nintendo Switch is having some weird issues. My Wii U works fine and has for ages. It's much older than the Switch, but my Nintendo Switch, as of late, for some reason has started having video slowdown, and the load times have just become just incredibly long, and I don't know what the issue is. And it's not the internet, because I know a lot of, when you look on the internet, everybody says it's the internet speed or whatever. You get it closer to your modem, or it's none of that. Whatever this is has to do with either the SD card or the Switch itself. I don't really know, but if anybody has any clue, I would appreciate it, leaving it in the comment section, because I am just at a loss. I have checked everywhere online, and I can't figure out why my Switch, which has been working beautifully for the longest time, now all of a sudden has just terrible slowdown, which it never used to have. And I've cleaned the vents and so on and so forth. There was nothing in them. Yeah. At any rate, it's just something that I would like to rectify without having to buy another one. But I'm still looking forward to making videos for the Switch games I have, and making, it doesn't matter whether it's the Metroids or Kirby games or what have you. And hopefully Nintendo will be cool with everything I do. I'm not looking to get any strikes on me or anything, so I'm hoping everything goes well. I've always been a big fan of Nintendo as a kid growing up. And there you see my little Wind Waker link there in my Korok. I was always a huge Nintendo fan as a kid, and I would sit there and play the original Zelda series on the NES and on the SNES to my heart's content as a child. There's a lot of fond memories for me. and I'm sure for a lot of people. Mizutsune. Now this Monster Hunter game, though, like I was saying, the graphics somewhat dated, but they look fantastic here on the Elgato. I don't know why, it just makes everything look more beautiful than the original. I'm not sure what how that works exactly. Oh, sword dance. Awesome. Knocked him right over. But aside from that, I mean, if you're a Monster Hunter fan and you haven't played this game, you really should give it a try. It has, I was trying to say earlier, it has those old issues, the little Monster Hunter issues of old in their games where, you know, you would drink a potion and then you would sit there and flex your muscles, and that would leave you open, unfortunately, to getting clobbered by the monster. It has those little things that could drive people crazy in the old days. But if you can get past those, it's still so much fun to play. I mean, for me, I just love being able to unlock all of these crossover characters. They've got Street Fighter crossovers. There's even Fire Emblem crossovers in here if you're a Fire Emblem fan. You can get the Fire Emblem sword and shield and armor and such. There was a number of them. There's a lot of anime ones as well, anime crossovers in here. I could not believe that they have Sailor Moon crossovers in here. I was I was a little puzzled by that, but it's in here. There was just a lot of good ones that I you know, you kind of, unfortunately, you can only create 3 characters, so you have to pick and choose. I mean, I made 3 characters, and for me it was Link, and it was Samus Aran, and it was Hiryu, or Hiryu, however you want to pronounce his name, from Strider. Because as a kid I played the Strider games on the NES and stuff, and I was a fan, and I thought it was really, really cool that they had him in here, so I made him as well. I can't remember if this was the, what was it, the Fated 4, the Fateful 4? Oh geez, I can't remember the name. But it's a fun little fight, and you can see the combat is awesome. You can, with any Monster Hunter game, you get to choose, if you haven't played them, you get to choose different weapons. So you don't have to use sword and shield like I'm using here. I mean, a lot of characters, you can play as a bow gun user, you can play as bow users. There's the heavy bow guns and the long sword, which is a favorite of mine. I absolutely love the long sword. There's just different weapons that some of them I am not great with, and I'll admit that. Some of them like the instrument ones. God, I forget what it was called, but it's like it's this big thing you swing around like a hammer, and it's like you play notes on it and such. Those ones I've never really used, and I've never been really good with them. But don't get me wrong, I'm not trash talking them. They are OP as hell for those people who know how to use them, as a lot of weapons in here are. I like the switch axes. They're pretty OP in most of these games, and the other axe as well. They have different weapons. You experiment and you find out what works for you, and a lot of them are just really awesome and really fun. You see my little beast palico there getting all steamed. He's getting angry there. And when they do that, they hit harder and they're more helpful. So a lot of these, the monsters in this game actually blew me away when I played it, because there's just such a variety that I've never seen before. There's a bunch that are not in Monster Hunter World. There's a bunch that are not in Monster Hunter Rise. I was surprised that Rise actually had more in common with this game than World did, in the sense that there was, well, the art style was more similar, but also the monsters that were in this game, they came back and made a lot of their appearances or reappearances back in Monster Hunter Rise. So it seemed to me like Rise was more of a continuation of this game than World was. World was kind of more of a departure. and you know, not in a bad way. I mean, they each had their greatness. So there's things that of course people didn't like in certain ones. Like in Rise, I know was it the Onslaught mode or whatever it was, where everybody, or where you get into this kind of setting where you have to stop these monsters breaking through the gates and whatnot. I know a lot of people weren't fans of that in Rise, so they kind of backed away from it with Sunrise. But I'm just a fan of the entire series, and I'm looking forward to Monster Hunter Wilds. That one looks like something I'm going to spend a lifetime in. So hopefully, those people that are Monster Hunter fans, if you haven't played this game, give it a go. It's worth it. If you're a hardcore Monster Hunter fan, especially this game, once you get to end game in this game, it's got that's where the game really starts to shine, where it begins. You know, you think that it's you'd think that that's where the game kind of comes to its conclusion, but that's not the case with most of these Monster Hunter games. It's once you get to end game is when things really start to unlock, when you start to get things that get really exciting. And this game is no different. You get to G rank stuff, and it just gets so challenging, and it becomes so much fun. So it's worth pushing yourself in most of these, get to those levels. And the great thing is, even with this game, there's still actually people playing it online. As old as the game is, when you go onto their online servers, you can join a game still. You can play with other people. The bad part is, unfortunately, Nintendo Switch does not have online chat, really. So, there's ways around it. I know with my friends, if I play this game with them, and if they have a Switch, I actually will chat on PlayStation or something with them while I'm playing it on Switch. So I think there's workarounds, and some people use other things. But, unfortunately, Nintendo hasn't got its own real party chats or anything yet. At least not that I've used. So it's something hopefully in the future, when they probably with their next Nintendo console, that'll be something they'll think about. Oh, not Glavenus over. Now, I loved just about every moment playing this game, and I think a lot of you will too if you give it a shot, so it's something to think about. Now, I know I'm not my usual jovial self here when I'm playing this one. It's because I'm kind of narrating after the fact, which is a little awkward for me, but it's how I got to do it for the moment. But as long as it works, and I get this video out there, and hopefully some people will enjoy it, if they're Monster Hunter fans, or if they're, Zelda fans, for instance. I mean, that was what drew me to this one. Was just when I learned, I realized it was an older game, but when I learned you could actually unlock Link's gear from Breath of the Wild, and his old gear from the original games like Twilight Princess, I believe the other outfit is from. When I learned you could get all these cool unlocks, I was like, oh, I'm there, I gotta play that. That's just something that draws me to a lot of these games. And even with Iceborne, with World, I should say, Monster Hunter World, what really pulled me to it was when I was a big Witcher fan, and when I learned you could play as Geralt and unlock Geralt and Ciri and all of that, I was like, yeah, I'm doing that. And I unlocked, for that game, I unlocked quite a few skins, outfits, whatever you want to call them, but my main ones were Geralt and Dante and Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn, so I had a great time with it, still do. And I actually can't wait to see how a lot of my other Nintendo games turn out on the Elgato, because this looks fantastic on here. And there we go. Got the last one. But you can see it's an action-packed game. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully some of you will enjoy it, if you haven't already. and I'll see you in the next video. So hopefully, we'll catch each other then, and you can catch my next one, which is a Metroid video, with my Samus Aran character. So, have a good one, and see you later.